All right, welcome to Two Idahoan Potato Farmers. Two Idahoan Potato Farmers! A brand new podcast that we're starting about, with just two Idahoan potato farmers. Just kidding. This is the beginning of a horrible...
This is the beginning of the end.
Exactly.
At this point already.
With
this introduction.
Yes, exactly. But this podcast, our idea for it is actually, we're going to come up with a premise and a basic outline for a new movie idea throughout the podcast. And we've never tried it before, so this should be interesting.
Well, try it.
We've never succeeded.
That's probably the best way to... So we're just going to each pitch a few movie ideas. We have basic ideas, maybe a title. That's really the extent that we're going at this point. And then we're going to pick one that we like the best. It'll probably have 2 or 3 each right now. Pick the best one, and then we're going to work through the beginning, the middle, the end, who should be in it, everything that would be in a regular movie pitch.
Right, exactly.
And then get turned down. Absolutely everybody.
Every movie studio in the world will say no to these.
Yeah. CBC will say no.
But I will say, if anybody does hear this and wants to try making a trailer even...
Jeremy's mom.
Yes.
She might give us $20 to do this.
Yeah, the other potato farmer who isn't here tonight.
Yeah.
So
this is more episode 0 than episode 1, because 1 just zeros here.
Well,
and without him, we don't.
You have to be something to be counted, so we are definitely not even a 0.
I literally live in my mom's basement right now. I'm into negative integers right now. I'm so low down in the world. I have resorted to making a podcast with you as my best way of escaping my life.
I guess we should tell the people who we are. I'm Steven. Some people know me as Steve. And that's about it.
That's the most interesting thing about me.
I don't live in my mom's basement, so I'm one step...
Bragger here.
But really, though, I do pay my own rent currently. Not for long. I'm hoping to change things.
Yeah, sugar mama.
Yeah, sugar mama. And
that's my mom.
Sorry, Christine. And with me today,
my name is Matthew Ellis. As I've already mentioned, I'm unemployed and I live with my mom.
That's a great start to any conversation.
It's the George Costanza, right? I'm George Costanza. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents. It worked for him.
God.
Recently single.
And continuously single after.
Forever single is really... I found the 2 girls in the world that would put up with me for a certain amount of time. And
it lasted a while.
Yeah. Years. Which is shocking.
But I think when you're
pets who have given up quicker than that with me.
But when you're with you, I think time moves in a different speed, and that your mind plays a trick on you, hoping to get out, so it forces time to go faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm aging just sitting next to you.
Yeah. Not the good, I want to grow old with you kind of aging.
It's like you're forcing me to my deathbed.
It is looking in the portrait of Dorian Gray and instantly growing old, and your life has been wasted.
Exactly.
That is basically what being with me is like. Recently single. Back on the market.
Wow. Well, I won't be living long enough to see you become unsingle again.
Oh. Alright.
Okay.
This is going to happen a lot. Yeah. We're going to get off track so many times.
That's why we have the sheet that has our outline for the podcast.
Yeah. We're going to have everything kind of planned out ahead of time a little bit. And
somewhat. And we're also drinking a lot, so... that doesn't really help with keeping on track. But we'll see what happens. Lots of beer,
Yeah.
Some pepperoni sticks.
It's kind of like drunk history without the worldly knowledge.
But we're writing future history, so it's kind of cooler.
Yeah.
That way, until they hear it and they realize it's...
And then they sue us.
They sue us for everything. All
right.
Well, jokes on them, we don't have anything. Okay, take it.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the pitch segment. So, like I said, we have a few ideas. I'm not calling them good ideas, but a few ideas that we can kind of workshop the rest of the movie out, basically on a 1 or 2 sentence premise.
Yeah.
And so this one came from when I was 14. As most men, I was a gigantic Die Hard fan.
Of course.
And I had to do a short story for my grade 8 English class. And I wrote a story called Live Easy. And it's the complete opposite of Die Hard.
You mean not good?
Yeah. Yeah. I probably got a D on it.
A D on that.
Yeah. So you just, in it, I don't remember the character's name, but he shows up, terrorists take over, and it's just a really simple, he just takes over it really easily, police show up, terrorists give up, the story's over really quickly. It was probably like a 10-page story for a single joke at the end where they all give up. It's a complete anti-movie is what it really is.
Yes. One of my ideas is a dog keeper, or whatever they're called. They have a kennel and they breed dogs.
Puppy mill. You're talking about
but
beloved puppy mill.
not one of the bad ones though. It's not fighting dogs. Well, that'd be kind of cool in a movie sense, but horrible reality for these dogs. But no, the idea is that this owner of a dog breeding facility, possibly government funded, gets his life saved by a cat, and now he's realizing he has to rethink everything. It's a terrible premise, but you never know what might come from that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I kept waiting for the good part.
Well...
Alright, but then I have to follow that. Alright,
yeah,
so...
you have to follow that.
Literally, before we started this, Stephen was like, don't come up with movie premises. And I came up with Rights and Wrong.
Oh, God.
And it's about the Wright brothers' attempt to...
The Wright brothers, yes.
Yeah, sorry. The Wright brothers to... Their attempts prior to actually getting their first flight.
Yes.
It's Rights and Wrong.
Basically all the planes that didn't take off.
So it's basically an action movie.
But if you think about it, there must have been... Who knows how many millions of people before them who tried and failed horribly. And I know there's those, like, GIFs or GIFs online that show them crashing it all the time. But I like that one. I think that's pretty funny. I think we can work with that.
Yeah, Rights and Wrong. I don't have anything more. Really.
Or should it be Rights and Wrongs?
Yeah,
because they make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, that makes sense too. It was more just I was thinking of I was just trying to think. I wasn't building off of like a historical story or anything.
Yeah.
I was just trying to pick phrases.
Right.
So right and wrong. I was like right and wrong, rights and wrong. But rights and wrongs makes more sense.
Yes, it does. Rights and wrongs.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So. I think we basically chose which one we're going to do.
We're going to do the dog keeping.
Obviously. That one is so bad. The only reason I thought of it was because we were looking at cat and dog pictures before we started recording. And I really don't have any good ideas today. Or most of the time. But I like the rights and wrongs one, which is slightly better.
Marginally better.
It's a historical piece.
Yeah, like it's something I assume Daniel Day-Lewis would play both characters. if I had to pick.
Orville and Wilbur? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Orville and Wilbur Wright. Originally played by Luke and Owen Wilson.
In
Around the World in 80 Days. So actually, now that I think about it, if we're going to do this right...
Oh, so
right.
wrong.
We're gonna do this right and wrong. We're gonna bring back Luke and Owen Wilson, I think.
So it's not a sequel; it's a remake.
It's a reboot. It's a
reboot, new story.
We're gonna be bold. We're gonna do what no other studio has done. We're going to reboot the Wright brothers story, but still use the same actors, thus confusing everyone.
Well, to be fair, I don't think anybody watched the first one.
What, Arnold Schwarzenegger? He plays the Maharaja or whatever. You know, Around the World in 80 Days. It's Steve Coogan.
I don't know if I ever watched the whole thing.
Steve Coogan. I saw it in theaters.
Oh, my
Steve
God.
Coogan and Jackie Chan.
Oh, yeah, I definitely didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay. Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it too. It's amazing.
Oh,
so, right.
God.
So this is already, it is somewhat of a reboot.
Okay.
It's a reboot of the 3 minutes they spent on screen during Around the World in 80 Days, which is in itself a reboot.
But see, where do you begin with this? Do you start when they're young, or do you start when they're already making the planes? Do we show that?
We're going to do like a walk the line, younger kids kind of.
Still played by Owen and Luke.
So it's just in smaller clothing. Because that's what I'm looking for anyways.
Maybe we should have one of those scenes where the teacher tells them, "You'll never be able to fly." And then they're like,
alright, so they're throwing paper airplanes in class, right? Which makes no sense because the airplane hasn't been invented.
Wait, they didn't have paper airplanes before? I'm sure they did. They must have.
I don't know. What would you call it then? If there was no airplane, what did you call it?
I have no idea, but I'm going to look this up later. I might even look it up during this, just because I'm...
Alright, well, in my story, they invent it as adult toddlers in class. And the teacher is like, what are you guys doing? And we're throwing paper... whatever they want to call it at that point. They invent the name...
planes.
No, they invent the name on the spot. They're airplanes. They're like, that's stupid.
Why do you call it a plane?
They've reinvented travel in class. But he's just like, that's stupid. This is never going to go anywhere.
They're only about 5 or 6 years old at this point.
Well, I'm guessing these are nuns, right? So they whip them and say, this is stupid. You're never going anywhere with this idea. The world will be better off if you just crumple these up and throw them in the trash. That's what it is. So then
you'll shoot your eye out, basically.
Yeah, it'll be the cameras in the trash can, and the nun will throw the paper airplane, and you see it going in while everyone is looking into the trash can from above.
Oh, okay.
So then it is Luke Wilson and Owen Wilson crying with a nun, like, and then you just
half tear each.
And then the paper airplane hits the camera, fade to black. Cut to black. Cut to black.
Side tangent. I think that camera's still going, so we're good. The history here, it says on Wikipedia, which is always reliable, that they were called paper gliders before, and they've been around since ancient China.
Okay. All right.
But they weren't called planes yet, I don't think.
And like I said in my explanation, they came up with the name planes in class that day.
But they were still aircraft.
Yeah.
Because they were crafts in the air.
Yeah, that's fair. And then there were still hot air balloons were already around.
We stretch the limits of reality here.
We're writers. We're not historians.
I don't think either of us has read a book in years.
No, neither are we writers. There's a reason none of this is going on paper. Because we weren't good enough. We
barely got the outline written for the whole podcast.
Alright, so paper airplane. Right into the trash cans. Cut to black. Where's it?
Rights and wrongs.
Yeah, rights and wrongs.
W-R-I-G. Fly in. Because...
on a paper airplane. And so it just swoops in, so it goes into the trash can and then across the screen, rights and wrongs sitting on there.
Yes, right. I am down with that.
Okay.
Rights and wrongs, paper airplane.
So, smash cut.
Okay, we're jumping ahead.
Yeah. Are we going to go teenagers or right to adults when they're in their workshop?
Where do they get the workshop? They should open up their workshop.
This is how stupid I am. I just read a book about the Wright brothers that had, like, 1/3 of it was about the Wright brothers.
I don't trust books.
I retained zero of this knowledge. I don't know what the hell they were doing. They had a bicycle shop, I think.
Really?
I think so. I think it was originally a bicycle shop.
See, like, we're, 100 years or so away from when they...
Over 100 years now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, 110 years or so.
Oh, yeah,
God.
1902?
I'm going to feel like an idiot when people fact check all this stuff.
No, that's why I have Wikipedia open right now.
Yeah, well, that would be smart if we looked this up beforehand. But
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it. We didn't know which one we were going to be choosing.
That's also very true.
Wright brothers. But I'll just have that there for history fact-checking purposes on our own. This is...
Okay, either way, I'm pretty sure it was a bicycle shop originally. And
Yeah,
they started coming up with the idea
that sounds familiar.
for a plane.
Yeah, okay. They, their first invention was the 3-axis control, blah, blah, blah. This doesn't help us. Where's the bike shop? Hey, it even has a childhood on here. We could look up there and find out the teacher's name, I bet.
Yeah. Sister Mary Francis. What
Something
is that from?
like that. Early career in research. I'll just look up that. But, okay, they have a bike shop. Even if they didn't, I like the idea of a bike shop. They're still building things.
Yeah, they're stuck on the ground, right?
And I just picture Owen Wilson, riding around and making fun of Luke Wilson, and Luke Wilson's, like, telling him to stop. That's usually what happens.
I should be doing an impression right now.
I know, I am afraid to do it.
I almost did it. And, no, that's not happening now.
All I can think of is Zoolander. I can't even think of any other, like, Owen Wilson quotes other than Zoolander.
No, I got nothing. Alright, so they have their bike shop.
Okay, bike shop.
They are, like I said, they're desperate. They're sad in life, right? Because they're stuck on the ground. They think back to this, when they were kids. And
they didn't have a bike shop.
All right.
As I'm looking this up, they had a print shop. They started their own little weekly newspaper.
This was like 5 months ago I read this book. How have I not retained any of this knowledge?
Oh wait, what's this? They rode bikes.
As everyone did, because cars weren't really widespread at that point.
Oh no, they did open a bike shop.
Yes.
Oh, it just wasn't their first company that they opened. They had a print shop before that, apparently.
I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid.
They started manufacturing their own bicycles because it was getting super popular to have a bike.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Huh. Okay. Cool.
What would the bike shops?
Yeah, we were sort of right. Completely right. And wrong.
Yeah, we're rights and wrongs aplenty.
Okay, this is why Wikipedia is the best.
Yeah,
we're gonna do this all.
What would the bike shops name be? I feel like they would have a very punny bike shop name.
We'll think of something, I'm sure. Well, or not.
Spokes and Blokes.
They weren't in England. Weren't they Americans? Yeah, they were in, like, Michigan or something. Spokes and Blokes.
Wheels and deals.
Wheels and deals. Okay, we're going with Spokes and Blokes.
Okay.
Because, Spokes and Blokes just opened up.
Orville and Wilbur Wright, Spokes and Blokes.
And they kept riding their bikes off of cliffs hoping to fly. No, okay.
Bigger and bigger. That's why they had to open the bike shop, because they'd wrecked their first bike. We're like, oh crap, we gotta make a new one now.
They didn't understand the concept of what a bicycle was.
Alright.
Okay, we're making them really stupid. They are credited for actually inventing the plane. Holy.
Oh, so someone's partying
outside. Outside the window right now. I've never heard this before while just in my apartment. But there's somebody farting outside.
This is great. Alright, so Spokes and Blokes.
Yes, Spokes and Blokes.
We're going to make them less stupid, because we are just doing them a huge disservice. Their families will come after us.
But see, it depends on who's directing this movie, right? We could get away with it if it's like a more of a comedy. We haven't even decided on that yet.
Yeah, maybe we should pick a director first, and that'll...
Like, if we picked Quentin Tarantino, he just changes history anyway, and we could get away with a lot more.
One of them would be black, probably.
Yeah, well... But it's still Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson.
Blackface.
Oh, okay. Which was popular at the time. Yeah, so that makes perfect sense.
Okay, what else we do? Like I said, if we did Steven Spielberg, That's the dramatic biopic of the two.
Okay, yeah.
That would be the Daniel Day-Lewis playing both characters, but so that's out the window.
Yeah.
Who directs? Well, Wes Anderson seems a little too auteur
and
to be this movie.
But it does suit Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson.
That's what I meant. I think that they've worked with them several times. They'd write it together. But I don't know how much claymation would suit this movie.
Well, the new Wes Andersons aren't claymation.
Alright.
You know, like Grand Budapest doesn't. But I think let's stay away from Wes Anderson, though. Let's give him somebody more edgy.
Who directed Around the World in 80 Days?
I'm pretty sure they don't have a job anymore. So they are totally available to direct this.
Yeah, no money at all. Alright, perfect.
I'm looking it up.
So we will just get the same director. So this is even more. It's a reboot with the same characters and same director now. He's just going to keep going.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger will fund their endeavor as the Maharaja of whatever character he plays.
Yeah, okay. Why is the Maharaja in this with Wilbur and Orville Wright? We need to come up with a reason for him to be there. Oh, obviously they go to the Wait, what's Maharaja? They're not like a genie, are they?
Alright, well in the movie he does look like a genie. Maharaja is more, and I'm probably so wrong, but more of like a noble figure in India. Okay. Maharaja could be like the Maharaja of a certain state or country. I'm probably wrong again.
Oh my god. Looking this up right now, the director of Around the World in 80 Days
did Fight Club.
He might as well have. He directed Blended, that new Adam Sandler one. Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James.
What's his name?
Zookeeper.
What's his name? Don't say Dennis Dugan.
No, Frank Karaki.
I don't know, okay.
Click, The Water Boy, The Wedding Singer, and Murdered Innocents.
I don't know what Murdered Innocents is.
Wedding Singer and Waterboy, he directed those. What happened? I think Adam Sandler happened. I'm not going to blame that guy. I'm going to say
he
probably
lashed his wagon to the Adam Sandler horse
and then didn't let go, or it just like caught on him and he was dragged behind that
millions of dollars per movie.
Yeah, so I can't blame him.
No, I would sell out so quickly.
Yeah, if somebody wanted us to make a movie, that would be a horrible idea. But so is Adam Sandler making a new movie.
Yeah,
so
I was thinking Dennis Dugan because he also does a bunch of Adam Sandler movies as well. Sure. I think he did
Happy Gilmore.
Don't Mess with the Zohan as well. I think he kept going for a while as well. But he did basketball too.
Maybe it's just Adam Sandler liked certain people.
Yeah. Oh, he did. I Now Pronounce Chuck and Larry as well because he's in it.
Right.
All right. It's off topic.
Oh, right. Good. That's why we have this.
Yeah.
Good call. Okay. Spokes and Blokes. Okay. What
Pup and Sons?
So what inspired them to make this first airplane that doesn't work?
Well, I think like most great people, they flourish in the face of negativity.
Okay.
So
there's still people walking by that same school teacher walks by Spokes and Blokes and says, "See, you're still not flying," and makes them feel horrible.
Whenever they ride their bikes, they're like stuck on the ground still.
Actually, when I was reading the Wikipedia there was another guy in Germany who had tried making the plane before them and failed, and he died. But why would you mention that in the Orville and Wilbur Wright? Like, so they saw that guy dying trying to do it, and they're like, yeah, let's still do that.
Another, Charles Lindbergh crossing the Atlantic. People died doing that as well. People died taking off from America to cross the Atlantic. Just on the takeoff, people died just there. They didn't even get to the ocean, and people died.
Yikes.
So, and he was still like, you know what? I should do this.
Okay.
And he did it. And then he got super weird.
Maybe because...
and anti-Semitic, and it got really awkward.
Maybe because they picked Kitty Hawk and it's a smaller hill. And it actually wasn't going to kill him regardless of how important it was. Maybe that could be a big part of the plot. That they're actually kind of scamming people. It's like, let's pick the smallest hill possible that we can do.
Alright, why don't we, since it's around the same time, and they're the Wilson brothers, we work in kind of the creation of movies into it as well. So what they do is they think they're just going to make a movie about it, and they can just fake it because it's on camera.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah. So they would think like, oh, we'll just hook up some wires. Our plane will just move along it. It'll look like it's flying.
Arnold Schwarzenegger will play Thomas Edison.
I love it.
As the Maharaja.
I love it. It's perfect because the Maharaja would ride in on an elephant, and Thomas Edison would electrocute elephants to death.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you would ride in on it, electrocute it, and then talk to people.
He would have a new elephant for every entrance. He would jump off and be like, electrocute this elephant.
And exit. Because So there was already an elephant there waiting for him. Somebody delivered just so he could ride away on a living elephant.
Yeah. You know, he's not gonna, I don't want sloppy seconds on this. I want a fresh one every time.
Okay, so Thomas Edison wants to keep the California movie scene down because he was in New York, right? That's the whole history of Edison.
Okay.
Is that, so he is trying to use something that's completely new and planes that haven't even been invented yet. Let's get it on film.
Well, yeah, it's like, God.
It's the secret history of the Wright brothers, basically.
Yes.
And the wrongs committed in the making of the airplane.
It's all coming together.
Bam, there we go.
All right, so I was thinking, I wish I remember who did it. Filming the train coming at the camera, everyone out, he was like, what's better than a train? Something that flies.
Oh.
So he's trying to captivate. Thomas Edison is trying to really take over this industry.
And he's like, I just picture a scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger is sitting there in a dark room watching these old films. Well, they'd be new at the time, I guess. But these old film projectors, and he's just like so pissed off wearing his Maharaja outfit. And he just continues to drink and stew in his own ruminations, I guess you could say.
So he's Howard Hughes before Howard Hughes was born.
Yeah, and then Howard Hughes
he's probably born at that point, never mind.
Ends up being a pilot. So it's all coming together here.
All right. So he's super mad. His movies aren't doing so well. His movies aren't doing so well. And so he's like, all right, what can capture the imaginations? He runs into this nun. Starts talking about it for no reason.
The school teacher nun, yes.
She's like, man, I had these two students who were the worst two students.
No, he's having an affair with this nun.
Perfect.
It's dark and scary because that's just, she's old by now. Like, they were
She's
children.
old.
She was old when she was teaching them.
All right. So
Too damn old.
So she's having an affair, or he's having an affair with this nun. Post-coitus. They're lying in bed.
Watching old films.
She's like, man, did I ever tell you about these two losers I had in my class?
She pulls out pictures from the camera that Edison gave her years ago of Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson.
In like 1875. So she has these photos, and he's like, what do they do? It's like, they wanted to make man fly, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's brilliant. It'll never happen.
Never.
But in front of a camera.
But I will definitely try to make money off of it.
People never will know, right? It's behind camera.
Oh, yeah.
So he meets up with them, and it's a whole big, this is where the wrongs are in, right?
Okay.
So we've already had the rights is the beginning, where we meet the rights. Then we have the wrongs.
Wrongs. Edison. School teacher.
Everything. They're trying to scam people. They're doing special effects on camera for the first time. Then the rights will be the ending where they actually fly. So it's RIGHTS.
So we're making a movie where
rights and
the
wrongs
villains
and rights
accidentally succeed and then become loved for something that they did not expect to work.
Yes.
Okay. I like
rights and wrongs and rights. That would be the title, but
yeah, rights and wrongs and rights.
Yeah. All right. So they meet up with Edison. They decide, hey, let's.
He writes them a letter in Morse code or whatever they have at that time. I don't know what they use. What do they
Morse
use?
code? I'm pretty sure they wrote it in English.
Or he sends them a telegram.
Yeah.
Which would be in Morse code, I think, at that time.
Wright brothers, stop. Let's make money together. Stop. That nun was probably right.
And then you
guys were losers. Stop.
And they're like, please, stop.
Oh.
And then they get super offended. We see them, like, rushing to their telegram table where they set their telegrams that are newly arrived or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, we got one from the great Thomas Alva Edison," and where there's a picture of him on the front apparently wearing his Maharaja outfit that he's enjoying. And they open it up to read this horrible message telling them that they should stop, but also that they need help.
So it should be like, let's do this, stop. And they're like, no, or like, please, stop. But then he goes, I have, stop, money. And they're like, yes.
Yeah, that's all I want.
So 37 telegrams later.
And when they see that, they go over to the bicycle, they throw it into the garbage can that's next to it.
Yeah.
They lock up shop.
This'll never take off. They throw the bicycle away.
They lock up the shop with customers still in the store.
Yeah.
And
they starve to death.
Oh, yes.
There's more wrongs.
And they burn it to the ground, basically. Why not?
Insurance money.
Thomas Edison would love that.
Yeah. Then they burn down every other bike shop in town, because that would be the real Thomas Edison
useless
way. Yeah.
Once we have planes.
But Thomas Edison was like, well, we don't want anyone.
But I guess they don't even know what it's for yet.
No.
So they're just hoping that he's going to have enough money where they don't have to deal with the consequences of what they just did.
Thomas Edison, he had buy your way out of prison money, all right?
That's true, he did.
But really, if this was really the story of Thomas Edison, it would be steal their idea, let them go to prison, and buy his own way out of prison.
True. But if the teacher already told them that they would never be able to fly, and they never even thought of flying before, why is he asking them to come build the plane? Oh, I know why. These two losers would be perfect for my already in motion plan.
So he's scamming them as well.
Thomas Edison already has the information about other planes and
scam artist ever. Yeah, okay. So he heard about the German guy first.
Yes.
He's going to make his own plan. That
actually succeeds, but not really.
So it's on camera,
quote unquote.
But he thinks if these guys die, who cares? Right? The German guy died. We'll just. Oh, so here we go.
He's talking about who's the biggest losers.
But he'll film it. And he thinks when they get off camera, it's immediately going to crash.
Yeah.
Killing these people, but on camera, it looked like this thing took off and flew.
But they need the landing, though.
But I'm saying, but it really works out. And that's why he doesn't get the credit in the end. Because when they land, everyone's like, oh my god, you guys flew. And they're like, holy shit, we flew. Like, everyone is completely shocked.
Yeah, well, I would be.
Yeah.
It's like, how is this even possible?
All right. So, a quick recap.
Yeah.
Luke and Owen Wilson.
Teacher tells them they can't fly. Paper airplane intro. Yeah. Paper glider.
A several year long sordid love affair between a nun and Thomas Edison. Who plays the nun? Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Thomas Edison.
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close. All right. So Glenn Close looked already about 70 at the beginning. So we put makeup on her. She now looks about 95. Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's fair.
Well, he has sex with housemaids or he doesn't care.
He has standards.
Yeah. Just whatever's around.
Exactly.
All right. So he decides, I'm going to scam these two guys into giving up their lives to fly a plane off this cliff.
Yes.
Even though they didn't go off the cliff anyways.
Off
the cliff. But it'll look like they succeeded.
He was more basing it on the fact that they're going to be so embarrassed when this doesn't work out that they'll just go into hiding and I won't have to pay them anyway.
Or they're dead.
Or
like
they're
the
dead.
German guy.
So win-win for Thomas Edison.
So, Team Spokes and Blokes.
Which was changed later in history, so that's actually the original.
Yeah.
It's hidden later, but it's Team Spokes and Blokes.
Team Spokes and Blokes. They agree to all this. They think they're actually making a plane, and it should be...
Like, yeah, we build bikes all the time. Why can't we build a plane?
I think they should be destined to fail. Thomas Edison wants them to crash.
2 wheels, no wheels. This is going to be way easier.
Look at the weight we're saving here, right?
Material costs.
So he wants them to fail on purpose so they can never talk about the fact that it was a fake situation. But they think they're doing it real. I think it should be a classic scene, like right before a big race, and like the bad guy walks in and he like rips out some wires or whatever. So
wires on the
in a car. I'm going to race in another movie.
Yeah.
Instead, he walks up and he's like, "All right, I'm going to totally tear off this horn that would have
warned the people that get in the way of this
anything
plane.
that would have made this plane less aerodynamic." And he's like, "Ha ha!" But really, that's the thing that makes it work properly in the end.
Oh, okay.
So it's like he screws himself.
But we have to have like a subplot where one of the Wright brothers also starts having an affair with the nun, even though she still hates him. So he just like likes the abuse.
Okay.
But then the other brother doesn't know about what's going on. I don't know how you work that in, but I think that would be interesting.
But then it should be a life. Okay, we already have the years-long sordid love affair with Thomas Edison and the nun. I think whatever Wright brother should be from the time of a child.
Yes.
That spanned to this point, and really he's just having sex with her. So when he finally does fly, he can really shove it in her face.
Yeah, so he's
more
doing
so
it,
than he's already shoving it in her face.
Yeah, like a revenge plot.
Yeah, first it was his penis he was shoving in her face. Now
it's his fame and fortune from flight.
Exactly.
The first man to fly.
And then a Denzel Washington movie named after what they accomplished.
Upside Down and Drunk.
It's a much better title for that movie.
Yeah, but then that could be really any of my weekends. But Denzel Washington might have to have a part in this movie. I don't know what. Maybe just one of like the bicycle repairmen at their shop.
I was thinking more when any of these actors decide, why am I doing this? Takes the pay loss.
Actually, we can't have Denzel Washington because he is a minimum of $20 million.
That's true.
Movie, so.
Very true.
That's quite a bit of money for a movie like this, directed by the guy who did Around the World in 80 Days.
And Click.
And Click.
Oh my god, Click.
But he made a lot of money, he must have.
That's all that matters.
Made a lot of money.
That's all that matters.
He can travel around the world in probably less than 80 days now because of those movies.
I think anyone can. That isn't designated to people who have directed Adam Sandler.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
All right.
The rights and wrongs of history, okay?
We're in third act now. We already know kind of how it ends.
Yeah.
He thinks he's killing these two. They think they're flying for real. He tries to sabotage it, thus making it properly work. And they end up flying. And he can't take credit for it anymore. Because without them out of the picture, right? They get to say, yeah, we did this. We built it and everything. Thomas Edison goes down as just the
guy who invented electricity.
Yeah, what a loser.
Yeah, he is totally pissed that he wasn't the flight guy.
So this movie just trails off in the third act.
Well, it was just like, what could Thomas Edison do? You have to have that moment where the Wright brothers lose everything, right?
Yeah.
So maybe when they're on the plane as it's soaring, they realize that, oh shit, we are going to crash.
Okay.
And so you have this moment, and at the same time on the ground, he's like fist fighting Thomas Edison or something. Arnold Schwarzenegger's riding a motorcycle with, I don't know. But it looks like the most dire straits you can get.
All right, so they take off on the... So it shouldn't be that he should sabotage it legitimately, but it should be a bite part.
Which he builds on the airplane as it's flying.
That's what I was going to say. So he sabotages it, takes the pedals out or whatever, and then, because of the Wright brothers, they have a bike shop, they're like, oh, guess what? They're like freaking out.
Good thing my years of training and hatred towards my nun teacher have paid off in these 11 minutes that the plane flew for.
So they both have pedals in their pockets, and one of them has a chain. They attach it They start biking. They go ET all over this. They're biking, and they fly to safety.
Yes.
Thus
Proving
cementing
Edison wrong
themselves.
and proving Edison a fraud at the same time.
But it didn't really change it.
Just the people who were there at the moment.
And then they get off.
Which was maybe 20 people, I don't know.
Yeah. Then they get off the plane. They go to the police.
But they knew.
Thomas Edison gets arrested for attempted murder. Because this is a historical drama. He gets arrested. Goes to prison. Prison for the rest of his life in solitary.
Yeah, done. His name.
You never saw
ruins.
Thomas Edison again.
Yeah. His whole company, everything, his legacy is now in shambles.
Yeah. Tesla takes off.
Yeah.
He doesn't fall apart.
No.
Because without Edison there, Tesla picks up all the pieces.
Tesla actually didn't die, it turns out, and this is where the sequel will come in. Tesla didn't die, he just changed his name to Elon Musk. And he figured out immortality through the use of his electricity experiments. Elon Musk is the guy who owns Tesla Motors now.
Oh, okay.
You know, who's a billionaire, whatever. But that could be the sequel. It's like rights and wrongs to Tesla's revenge. I don't know.
So it's Rocky 2 plus Rocky 5 equals Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, alright.
Okay, so let's recap again once more here.
Quick recap, do it.
Okay, so we start off with Luke and Owen Wilson as children in class, and their teacher tells them...
But they still play the children.
Yeah, oh yes. And the teacher tells them that they will never ever fly, so why are they making paper gliders in class? So it's...
Alright, so then right after that, because he can just really... Oh my god. He can really just draw on life experiences. Owen Wilson tries to commit suicide.
Didn't Luke Wilson do that?
No, it was Owen Wilson.
No, Luke Wilson did it in the Royal Tenenbaums.
I mean in real life.
Oh,
Owen Wilson
well, they both have experience there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Owen Wilson, his character, as an 8-year-old boy, tries to commit suicide. Will feel the emotion because it's real.
Precisely.
Alright, keep
and
going.
then intentions were...
They were bad.
Bad.
But the outcome was pretty damn good.
Like they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Maybe the road to flight was paved with horribly evil ones.
I'll say
that would be the tagline.
Let's flip it around. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. The road to heaven is paved with horrible ones.
And I think that is the tagline.
Oh, perfect. Alright, so we have rights and wrongs. The road to heaven is paved with horrible intentions.
Yes. And I think that's it for this one.
That
Rights
is,
and wrongs.
That's a whole movie right there. 3 acts.
Yeah.
We're going to show full penetration between Glenn Close and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Wilson brothers.
That too.
Okay.
They get bored in their bike shop. Not bikes weren't as popular.
PG-13 for sure.
Yeah. We'll do some cuts.
Penetration of genitalia 13 times. PG-13. Yeah, so, yeah, I think that's pretty good.
That is a movie I wouldn't see.
I would see that, just to see Arnold Schwarzenegger dressed up as Maharaja as Thomas Edison.
Yeah, I want to see the dyed gray hair, thinned out. He's wearing the 3-piece, but not like a tux or anything, but like the kind of like the weird like tux, like vests that showed your nipples. Like that's what I want.
But no shirt underneath.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna. Why would I hide that bod?
It's true. He is pretty ripped.
Yeah. So we have that.
And Glenn Close wears the exact same thing.
Glenn Close, she wears her Cruella DeVille, but just fur coat and bikini underneath.
Yeah, as a nun.
With a nun.
How does she hide? How does she hide this if she's a nun? When all her nun companions realize that she's, you know what? Oh, there goes the beer. They'd be like, I think there's something off with this nun.
She's constantly chasing Dalmatians the whole movie.
Oh, she's from Germany. Or
yeah,
like they just make up some racist excuse for why she's different.
What would it be? Because that's pre-World War I, so they wouldn't be falling on Krauts yet to make fun of.
Oh, that's right.
This is first. I would probably just French, probably, right? Everyone hates the French.
Always have. And I think with that, I think we're...
That's it.
And
rights and wrongs.
We'll be back again with more ridiculous storylines.
Yeah, it's going to get worse.
Worse?
Because we're going to have our friend Jeremy join us next time.
Oh, yeah.
And that guy knows a bad idea when he sees one.
Oh, well, it's because it's coming out of his mouth. All right.
And that is 2 Idahoan potato farmers wrapped up.
Thank you very much.